마테겐지 마레겐지 근데 남주가 가지 시장에까지 쉐로 마셔로 그 경험을 내용이 같은 일이 온 거야. 근데 가면 때는 잡잡죠 봐. 아 소수는 기차 얘기인지나 잡잡죠 봐나 소수는 기차 맨내긴지 이거 통하다 거기 롬마대와 킹인데라 미숙한 잡잡죠 봐. 어떻게 계속 와.
봐. 이 한마디 로시나 시죠.
내가 유kul란 냠뇽 온발라 디괴데 뭐다
그래, 디스코. 되게 배치를 오늘 좀 되더니 알아야 본다 좀 가가지. Page 94 of 51. Fifthly, you should pay special attention in your meditation to those people, the mere sight of whom or the mere sound of those whose names you dislike, even though they have done nothing against you. Because of this, there is a great danger of becoming angry with them. So sometimes this kind of things does happen. People who have, that you didn't know, that you have nothing to do, but just seeing their side, maybe towards you or maybe from your side towards them, there's a feeling of not liking or maybe just negative thoughts. And it might happen because of maybe from past karmic action. So being more kind of careful in this kind of situation.
미몽고 꺼내는 니치디가라 아니 시모 미슬라마게 네 티란데 치시루 교에는 방에 두스체네 네 리더 경고에 다음에 카라제야네 두스 교에라마데 교체나데 까레지데 있으리 주디가라 근데 제가에 지시기 도데 딘지든 추게르샤스 이들 데리신게 두고도데 뭔지든 추게르 만지든 추게라네 배 카드장에 있는 디지네스 그 송도와 어다 이번에 뭐네 자주 있음라 내가 년대니 진짜 빠지 뭐네 이게 기부 담바지기 어다 그 수는 받기는지라 같은 튀기 맞으면 파죠 수는 이게가 잠이지 파 오면 되가 하려고 들어와 나도 뭐네 예 디스와 대다 맞으면 디켄도 제대 콤파체나 지나게 같은 까만 냠가 빠서 매진 자주기에서는 포도 좀 버튼 돈벌기로 세라고 다 뭐네 자도 와도 스테네 삼다 단단 와서 때 용해요 말이 와서 때 요대 장해요 말 이나 몰라 진짜 있다 맞아 뚝뚝지 진짜 그렇게 지시는 때는 서로다 제네는 내나 셈나 버스 때 저번에 되기도 와 와서 때 삼당을 쉬우시게 좀 맞아 내가 저거로 와 내가 되게 자주기 셈나냐면 맞았다 써왔는다 로사면 내야돼 야지겠단 말이야 또 수가 와다 나네 라메 이 제발람단게로 대삼사 냥냥가 장tum나 아주 미치 룽존지 많이 그부터에 이 룽존지나 맞아지 냥냥가 작품이나 또 된다고 문제라면 난단 진진 뉴진 냥냥제 송도 송도 거야
Because of this, there is a great danger of becoming angry with them. In order to acquire equanimity towards such people, the text says, don't rely on other conditions. The last sentence of this last paragraph on page 94, because of this, there is a great danger of becoming angry with them. I think it's kind of a translation thing, though. It's not Geshe-las, but I'm just saying. In the Tibetan text, because of, it says because of this here, but probably in the Tibetan text it's because of those, all 5 points. There's a great danger of becoming angry with them, so it needs to apply to all 5 points, not just. So, and in Tibetan text, that sentence is with the next sentence, not with it. So, so there are some kind of things that I feel kind of forced to come out and make kind of clarification. So continue with the reading. In order to acquire equanimity towards such people, the text says, don't rely on other conditions. Comes the the text. Equanimity, is the practice that kind of brings or that can kind of really suppress or dominate what we mentioned before, 8 worldly concerns. So all of this practice that mentioned here should be kind of benefiting you in kind of suppressing or dominating or controlling or overcoming those 8 worldly concerns, which would be otherwise without control becomes obstacle. Now, don't rely on other conditions. In general, whenever you are practicing such as listening or contemplation, if favorable conditions are assembled, it will be successful, and if the conditions are not met, it will fail. Yet, if someone who enters into this practice and engages sincerely in mind training is able to seek the lack of favorable conditions as a stepping stone, he will have no fear of external or internal obstacles and will make a great advancement towards the awakening mind. it is clear that you need steadfast behavior in the course of your practice. Sorry, we haven't gone to that part. It's just this paragraph. So in general, as mentioned here, when we practice, our practice tends to kind of depend on conditions. So we might there might be a fluctuation, sometimes true, sometimes not, depending on factors and conditions. But somebody who entered into this practice, it says it doesn't really matter what kind of conditions and circumstances you are. And especially when you face a negative conditions and negative circumstances, it benefits your practice instead of making your practice, bringing an obstacle or making it worse. So that's it should be happening for the who enters into this kind of practice. This here refers to practice of altruistic mind. There is there is a expression saying that three kind of process. First is you become you excluded from human community, and then you comes under the situation or conditions of like a dog. You are totally excluded. Then the third stage is you come up to the highest level in the human society, like a highest lama. So in the practice, we can see this practice, such as in the practice that Milarepa went through. In the beginning, he went through such a kind of intense, hardship because of his thick layers of, afflictions. He has to go immense sort of torture, suffering under his teacher, Marpa. And in that case, he become more or less like exclusion from a human community, and then and excluded from human, and then the way he lived life and he kind of endure, suffering and difficulties. It's really like kind of animal, like a dog, extremely difficult. And then going through all of those, then later when he finished all of his, practice and meditation and attain realization, he became a truly Lama, the highest, coming back into human community or human society. And in that stage, Milarepa, when he kind of done his practice and sort of attained realization, coming back into, kind of community or society, at those time, one of the most famous Lama or teacher was a teacher from Sakya tradition, and he was giving a teaching in the public. And when he gives a teaching, he sits on the throne, and kind of many disciples, and his sister kind of sort of out of frustration told Milarepa that look at the Lama who has attained realization, and you should be like him, sitting on the throne and have lots of disciples. But look at you have nothing, just and sitting on the just kind of rock. And then Milarepa responded that what I challenge is I challenge to 8 worldly concerns. That's what I don't want. And there's nothing that I cannot do. I can do just like that Lama, but that's not how I want to be. And so in fact, what we see here is that difficulties, difficult situations and factors and conditions transform into kind of something, facilities for true practitioners, and they can transform that, make that transformation. And so although this here, and then for those practitioners, it says they can make a great advancement towards the awakening mind. But for ordinary people, of course, we are not like those. So therefore, these are sort of beyond our ability. We tend to be kind of influenced by negative factors and conditions and small obstacles. And but what we can do is at least trying our best, even just making wishes or prayers, just thinking, because to attain happiness at the end, genuine happiness, there is no other way than kind of going through the practice of altruism.
Similar repata, Adi, home get the Galata, don't let them get magic, Naran or the Simo the Jaga, Simo the Tenjide, that two mothers, Simo the Nobuji Tan, Twido, Milarepa. Mira Reba Futi Milarepa, two of those Majek, Zubu, Yoya, by those two around Mazam, those Chado. And Simo the Yanker Pay, Miso, Dimitri, they go, Diligent, Tulas, Tulas, watching me to the Kakin Naval, and the Sudo, but a Milarepa, a cool culture. My Chapata and Savani Market. Anche, Tulas, Chavanche, Tele Charanki, also I am the Tiniki Kenchi. And continue to do Chesatala, and Nigi Chale Janaga, Jitin Chigala, Kandachaki, something, Kengi, Lungoa. The Madame Repatiti, Yamin said to what they let here. My Chapakani, and Savani, but I think Lugi Sudo. Other than the money, Chin Nema Changila, that was a Chitojin and Deva, young Milarepa, Tambun in the Milarepa Kati, Najinja, Howard. Chizon Gala, Choshi thing whether she would catch him. From these to be. The money, yes, I divide the original, shares the original, back out, divide the original, these Majonshi. Kalhabua, minimum partner, some tango. Kanjan of the Chaman and two as you want. Yanti, Pigeon in the initiation, and the chicken there, then some of your cover, but together came one. What I am in Chitigala, that I check what it is, that I think it's chicken one. That Yamin gets it, Jelam, two to buy Jekoso, Jetambani, to buy Yula Ranso, say what that. Yamin Jay on the Gala, Chick, one don't you get some Zonajan, Tedeki, Gerum, my game, Kashi, Chick, Lodging is Lozan Jay, Nipe, Shuji, Yondon Dona Chickador. What did the Chickio Marella go? So, Snarloki, Chick, Unonde, Chinzindi, Gucci, Chinzin chair. What a thing in Dumba, the good water, Mazo, Lui in Namgurde, Nama Kadej and the Takana Chilamte, Takana Chichena, Illinois. The Matayanchi, Mama Chete, Shivichas, what a pitchy Chigio Mazua, did it, Jason. Samba Chanti is some Duke to Pompachava and Mindaji. What up? Dubat Chanti is some no matter what. And Jim Chinzi Chitula, Chanti is a matter of getting around Chinzi, or Jim Chinzi Japanese. Nunaki Chupa, Sara, Neki, number Maimba, Kundam, Mitumendova, Tula, Lapacha. Chava Chibishane, Rosan Tan Cheki, Munsen Tola, 20, Chechewa, Chik Queso, Rojango Orjuna, Jenga, Joto Miruma, Tate de or Tate 20 Chechewa, so what the social media.
In the Milarepa's practice, there are other stories like Milarepa being kind of challenging eight worldly concerns. He maintained kind of sort of remain in poverty, not wearing a proper clothing. But his sisters kind of again remind him about how he should be dressed properly and nicely. But definitely, it's probably it's not that Milarepa is not knowing how to behave or how to dress, but in fact, we know he was a realized master, and but we do find that kind of stories. His sister kind of advising him and trying to kind of help him to like bringing him a nice new clothes. applying, the way of practice of Milarepa to nowadays our current kind of situation. Definitely, we need to be applying it in a proper, right way. We cannot simply say that he did that and great masters did that, and in the text it says, therefore I'm going to do this. We need to be looking at our own kind of situation, conditions. So one of the main message that we kind of apply nowadays is practice of a sense of contentment, which is important. But at the same time, living in this kind of social condition, we need to be thinking about, even a practitioner thinking about basic necessities of life, such as paying a bill, all on time, and simply kind of, pointing to the text and therefore, my practice should be like this, probably won't work. So we need to be doing according to kind of understanding of your own conditions and, society and so what is important here is the practice of contentment, and less desire or attachment, and a proper sense of contentment or satisfaction. Moving on to the next. So when engaged in the practice, it says, it is clear that you need steadfast behavior in the course of your practice, as the text says. A root text: transform your attitude but maintain your natural behavior. So this practice is when you are engaging in the practice, because sometimes we see kind of practitioners very kind of pretentious, although they maybe practice like a couple of years, but they seems to be totally kind of physically changed appearance. That shouldn't be proper, What you need to be changing is change your attitude, your thought of that, self-grasping, egocentric, self-cherishing thought into other-cherishing thought, and maintain your physical, behavior sort of, kind of natural, as like a same, not pretentious. So that's the point here, and. And not letting your thoughts to kind of, giving birth to all kind of negative, non-virtuous thoughts, and generating as much as you can the positive thoughts, virtuous thoughts, and then while happening that within yourself, but the physical or natural behavior you should remain kind of same, So that becomes true practice of what this advice means. So it reads in the at no time should your thoughts be separated from becoming acquainted with the awakening mind. There should be no sudden change in your physical and verbal conduct, and your behavior should not differ from that of ordinary people. The great Chakawa said that all your practices of mind training should be inconspicuous to the outside world, but in reality there should be great improvement. So we will stop here for today and continue tomorrow.
Time for questions.
Yeah, I can ask a couple of questions.
Geshe-la mentioned 22 different kinds of altruistic mind. And I assume that he's talking about a relative or conventional altruistic mind and not the absolute or ultimate. And could you give some examples of those types of altruistic mind?
군수 심계기 공도로 배진 전담 심계 말하러도
군수세계 말했어. 군수세계 앞에 로전이 도천이 앞에 세토르는 밍마라 다르마도 이 따보 타르게나 빼던 저들 회사서 뉴이어래 그런 동서니 스타니어래 빼던 저래 따보 타르게나 빼 미스를 세고도 그래서 너가 이제 딱이나 빼 미스를 세고도
So that's you're saying those the 22 types of bodhicitta are the types of conventional or relative, not the ultimate, and those 22 list and the example that is used. If you want to look, as I said, you can look at the liberation ornament papungas. Yeah, it's any
따보 타르게
tabotage.
Jewel ornament.
Mhm.
Gamboba.
Gambuba.
가르잖아 문도겐노라 대형 사서로 나오면서 회사서 님이도 신 대형 마도 그런 눈소 님이 대형 말했어 와 제가 따디 그런 눈소 님이들아 회사서 님이 빼던 전에 따보 타르긴데 살아지 내 토마스 세대자게 민습에 살고도 되나라 무슨 군진 지명 원복이 지역에 때나때 살아요 말 여대요 그럼 그거에 넣어도 다 선택 급도들 배서 가가지고 배 살고도 없어요.
So a jewel ornament or liberation ornament by Gambopa, that text is as far as what he has seen is most elaborate, most precise. In the ornament of path text, it does talk about the 22 kind of example beginning with the or metaphor, earth, gold, moon, but it's not elaborate or not detailed as the Gampopa's one. So if you're interested, you can look at that text. There's a note by note on this, by commentary note by Jingme Wangwu, but again that is not second reincarnation, but that is not precise or elaborate as the Gampopa's text.
Geshe-la talked about the layers of negativity which we're not conscious of, and we need the karmic seed to become aware of that. So if we don't have a karmic seed from our substrate from a previous lifetime, can we in fact develop our ability to look at some of these unconscious levels and then provide a karmic seed for future lifetime?
There's no rasa the legi lesa meba le masa gengi datanda khalo pejin de tawa ni sir nengelen de choro dak les legi lesa mena legi de good mesnen mizidelian legi ju sarsa che yoro lo tele nengelen la de yon sigi yon che de legi wangi mando jikta shayo legi wangi yin sigre lan keshila sonro dange nenga da den de na da le de kesi le dukja nyamba nyama na sa de debu mi indri chi ya khala orda tan se de lege le sambusan lege debu sar do tyen la or sar do tabe yor wala do
그때는 이야기하는데 레디 가사 너들 레게 빼나라 레치양당 아니 빼 콤바치 중당 딘디고 하는 미야대 같이 닝기로 이거라 레디 닝엘랭기 디바시야데 나노도 링 남베 왕기 나티양 저희 저로 거듭이서다 미 니그 저도 꼴 되고 있는데 예 나라도 예 누구대양 지금 혼자 차잖아 근데 꼴도 봐 니그 저라이나 가져지 같이 눈께는 깍두도 와 어때서 냉랭이 니가 지금 같이 그래 저도 꼴 미스바 상당히나 니그 저도 꼴 뉴기도 와 나랑 소리지나 주전이 숨 한전전대디 비문낭에 개판낭에 가가지도 와. 야, 대바지 내가 제는 주도 먹고 내가 제도 와. 어디 냉랭이 집아 두부에 그 따뜻해. 강가등 알아 두부한테. 소설 때는 용도.
Yeah, that's right. You can, create, or plant new seed, karmic seed. In the one of the sutra, le jabalan taja kare, le je changa je de lor ja lor. So 100 action, karmic action sutra. It talks about different types of karma and how karmic results are, produces in terms of duration, timing, habituation, and the karmic action that we mentioned before. Literally, it would be Tibetan word is "nyeng" means bad. It's condition is bad karmic or bad condition, and it could be physical, verbal, mental. It means like it refers to such as physically you are healthy, but even though you are healthy, but there's no kind of your kind of interest or desire in creating or doing a positive thing. Physically you are healthy, but when you try to engage in physical, verbal, mental, positive activities, there's always some kind of discomfort, not wanting, doing something else. And those are considered as a result of some, karmic obscurations. And Gajal was using his own example when he tried to sit and do chanting, recitation. There's 2-3 hours, there's a physical discomfort that makes him to kind of get up and do something else. When he engaged in other things, which not other things, then he can stay much longer, without sort of feeling of getting tired. And these are considered as a karmic, obscurations, or that allows us, and in creating a negative activities, as we say often, you don't need to plan and generate a thought. It comes so easily, so kind of systematic, organized way. But that doesn't happen same with the creations or doing a positive things or positive action. The last question.
Okay. In Liberation in the Palm of Your Hand, they talk a lot about prostration, doing 100,000 prostrations. Should that be woven into mind training, and to what extent is that important?
다니 나베체디 루이기 차서 고르종데 팔바레 이나야 루이기 네넬린지 리바제바라 루이기 보네 차차야 고라게야 사사게야 이기티 조말라 따티 메트미로와 차고 디지 룽아기 네넬린지 추 땅마투버 셈네 징인드나 디지알 가진 티고 인디가라 치 자자 고르종제데 개침부치는 순고아레스 다 차차라 사사살lun가가 시에고아레 대춘령가가 시에고아레 아니 디이들 년도 굴론저단에 시에고아레 위에는 배 자부 랑게는 배
근데 저 로전도 가르쳐 요르서.
로정단 대화에 첨부하래. 가르잖아. 로정에라 리기 닝닝 티기티 장 맞고 있나? 로정에 하고도 작으러 와. 셈나. 삼문 규제 땅에라. 강할 테고 와래. 가서 리기 닝닝다 지밭 가서 지세부든 로정 라 헬라 차고 와라. 거기 가르잖아. 아주 짭다 마서는지 야가는 짭지고가. 짭다 마서는 뜻을 시작하고 와.
Yes, in practice, we do find a lot about physical as well as verbal, physical prostration, circumambulations. It is generally kind of less important than a mental practice, but these are considered as needed, especially when we talk about physical kind of bad condition or being in a bad circumstances. So to purify those layers of physically related negativities, engaging in prostrations and circumambulations will be of immense benefit. So it makes your physical body more proper, more appropriate, more suitable, and that will have of course a positive impact on mind training. And without having physically kind of suitable mind training might not be so easily practiced. So in a way it is like a kind of building or constructing your kind of supporting thing for your mind training. So therefore it's kind of something needed or required. And just like when we talk about creations of positive merits, we talk about accumulation of positive merits through physical, verbal, and mental, and this comes under physical accumulations of positive merits. And likewise, when we look from the negative side, purifications of obstacle or obscurations of physical body and mind, and again this comes under the purification practices. Jere Seon Tenzin Gyatso in Shabe Sede Bado Tenjuji Jambe Pavu Jidra Jemba Dan Kondo Sangbo Dea Deshi Deda Kungi Jeson Dalo Jen Gyawa Deda Tamje Rapto Ngon Tusum Shabe Gyawa Tamje Gyungo Wa Kangla Chodo Ngab Dajen Gyewe Zawa De Kungya Sangbo Chenche Rapto Ngo Warake The land encircled by snow-white mountains, the source of all happiness and benefits, flows in person, cherries, tens and yaso, remained until samsara ends. Just as the Bodhisattva Manjushri attain our missions, and summon the Vata to, so now I too dedicate these merits to train and follow in their footsteps. As all the victorious Buddhas of past, present, and future praise dedication to the Supreme, so now I too dedicate these sources of my merit for all beings to perfect good actions.